It's the real Nya Daddy Show. It's the real Nya Daddy Show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Real Chat Daddy Show. And welcome to a very special Friday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. This show is entitled Love Hurts. This is a new creation that I've started on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and it's to talk about all things relationships. It's a 1-hour action-packed show. Some of the best guests, some of the best experts, therapists, you name it. We talk about it all on Friday nights. And my very special guest co-host tonight, she really needs no introduction, but she is a major superstar. Originally from Chicago, travels the globe talking about relationship issues. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome my special co-host tonight, mental health expert, author, speaker, influencer, the one and only Miss Nya B. I can barely talk, honey. Good evening. How are you? I'm so excited.
Hello. Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? How are you, Chad?
Good. I'm wonderful. How are you tonight? Look, when you said you do the Friday night co-hosting thing, I just was like, girl, stop. I love you. I appreciate you. I really do. I have my favorite beverage. I'm in the comfort of my abode. And tonight I want to talk about a lot of different things that people have been ducking and dodging. And so let's, first of all, let you introduce yourself to the audience. And then let's talk about what we're going to talk about later on in the show, because we're going to build this up. So go right ahead.
What's up, everybody? My name is Nya B. I am a licensed mental health professional. I've been doing therapy for about 22 years now, but in private practice for 11 years. So I've helped a lot of couples stay together, a lot of families stay together. I've helped a lot of individuals. And so I do talk a lot of crap too. So I think this is the perfect night for me and Chad to talk about relationships and for us to dissect them in a fun way and a clinical way. So I'm really happy to be here.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that because, look, I want to be hilarious, but I want to be truthful, honest. I even love the fact that you say you love, people born in winter months. This is Scorpio season. This is my season. I think you and I tonight are going to have one heck of a time talking about relationships. So as we all heard, we're going to start off with hot topics that football player Mr. Tom Brady and his supermodel, soon-to-be ex-wife, Miss Gisele Bündchen, announced their divorce after 13 years. As you all know, Tom Brady is a superstar football player. Well, his soon-to-be ex-wife is nothing to sneeze at either. She's one of the top-paid models in the world. She's from Brazil. She's beautiful. Look, they got rich people problems. I got poor folks issues. You know what I'm saying? What do you think, Nya B, about cases this big? We're starting to see a lot of cases like this.
I think what we're learning is that what we think are rich people problems actually are people problems. Divorce happens with people in general. People go out of love, they break up, they have children, families, and we think that people are exempt from regular problems just because they got money. And what we're learning and seeing with everything that's going on with these couples is that real life happens. Detachment happens. People don't get their needs met. It occurs. Right. People decide that they don't want to do certain things anymore. You do that in real life. You do that whether you're poor, rich, middle class, it doesn't matter. You're not exempt from a heartbreak.
That's true. That's true. I used to think all the time, Lord, only rich people go through that. And no matter, as long as you're living, breathing, and want to desire to love and to be loved, I guess relationship issues, like you said, have no particular person. It is just what it is. Then let me ask you this. Do you think now more than ever, our relationships are being tried? I know a lot of young people, the Z millennial, is it the Z? Yeah, the Z millennial. No, the Z generation.
There's Generation Z, and then there's Generation Alpha, which is the younger ones coming up now. And then, of course, the millennials.
So here's the deal. they not talking about no relationships. They don't even want to identify with a gender. They I mean, come on now. I'm old school. Like I was a boy. Now I may have felt like a million other things, but I'm a boy. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
what are we to say in this society when people are feeling indifferent now?
I think that models and role models are everything, and what people are seeing is that every generation, because the generation before is supposed to lead the next generation. So when we
Hmm.
see Generation Z and Generation Alpha, a lot of times they're looking at the millennials to say, okay, what does love look like? Or a lot of times they're looking at media to see what love look like. And so back then, the millennials or even the, Generation X, they didn't have the access to social media that Generation Z or the alphas may have, So we had to look at things like the Cosby Show or our families, or there was a lot of things that were, taken out of media for censorship. There is no censorship now. So
No, no.
when you mix no censorship with immaturity, they start coming up with their own definitions of things and the way that they want to do things. And there is there are no examples to say, okay, this is what love looks like. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what communication looks like. This is what getting to know someone looks like. These days,
Hmm.
people, their tolerance level is so low that
Hmm.
trying to do anything, trying to get to know anyone. Think about patience. We don't even want to wait for the phones to load. You want to sit down and wait for somebody to tell us what their favorite color is. We can't even talk.
Well,
People
now
aren't
that's
talking
funny.
anymore. People
You're
aren't
right.
talking.
I couldn't agree with you more. Later on in the show, I'm gonna actually talk with you about some things that people should be talking about in dating nowadays. And I've found that people that I've gone out with, they couldn't even answer these questions. And to me, these are fundamental things you should be able to answer. Like, okay, yeah, I know you know your address, your colors. We'll talk all about that in just a little bit.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
I wish the best of luck to Tom Brady and Miss Giselle Bunchins. Again, y'all got rich folks issues.
I don't think so
Speaking,
though, Chad Daddy.
it's
She
trying to
said
split
that
everything up, right?
she said she wasn't getting none. So I mean, I think people.
Really?
Hmm. I think people go through that all the time. Sexless marriages or just tapping out or someone's not being available. From what I read a little earlier today, because I did some little research a little earlier, she said she couldn't take him being inconsistent. And so he had done a podcast show and someone asked him, like, hey, do you, get it in before a game? Like, what's your ritual? He was like, yeah, no, I don't have that type of ritual. So, when someone's like, hey, I'm not being taken care of physically, whether you have money or not. It sounds like those are needs that people have.
Well, now, okay, now let me, as a man, I don't know if I necessarily would be able to get it in before a game. Maybe that's just me. I'm old. Um, Maybe these young guys can, but I would rather want get it after the game is over. You know what I'm saying?
After, before, she said she wasn't getting it at all.
Oh,
So
that's
we don't
horrible.
know
That's
when that
horrible.
stopped. We don't know when that was, but
That's horrible.
sources say that she said that she wasn't getting it. So,
Oh, yeah. Getting some is important. It
it is
really is.
very important.
Yeah, it's very important. It is. So, okay, all right. Well, then, yeah, okay. No, you're right. Them is common people problems. So,
Common people problem.
yes, I take that
Yes,
back. I digress.
yes.
Well, speaking of other power couples who are headed to divorce court, actress Tia Morrow, as you all know from Sister Sister, one of our duo twins that we just love and adore. She served her estranged husband, Mr. Corey Hardrick, with legal papers days after he publicly confessed his love for her and their family. Tia here lately has been all over social media, dancing, letting the world know, baby, I'm single, I'm ready, I'm free. She's the one that served divorce papers, citing irrecitable, or how do they say it?
Irreconcilable
Differences.
differences. Hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, what do you think about this case?
When I first saw it, I thought she was doing the most. And the reason why I say that is because when you have to go out your way to prove that you're excited, you're happy, everything's great, that's typically a red flag for me, to say, okay, who are you trying to convince here? Me or yourself? Are you
Right.
trying to convince the
Right.
viewers that everything's fine? And for anyone that's ever gone through a divorce, yes, it's, you can say I'm done, but it's still not easy. It's still
Right.
not a great thing to do. You're still grieving. And no, I don't expect her to be sad or anything like that. But when you're going out your way every day to, just be like, look at me, I'm happy, I'm great, I'm fine. I don't know. I kind of raise the eyebrow to God with how much she's doing.
Well, now that's interesting, Nya B. See, I thought of it from a different angle. I thought maybe she was like, listen, I'm free, I'm ready, I'm available. Look at mama can drop it like it's hot. I can still, she just reminded me of herself in Sister Sister, where,
Mm-hmm.
she like, hey, here it is. Anybody interested? But I
Mm-hmm.
now get what you're saying. Could you see my point of view though, too?
I
Like,
definitely see your point of view, and I think that
mhm,
for anyone that's ever gone through divorce, you get to a point where you're saying, "Okay, this is freeing. I feel better. I'm finding myself." I heard her say at some point, "I'm setting boundaries. I'm saying no. I'm taking care of me. I'm putting myself first." I think that can be very liberating for any mom and wife or someone who's taken the time out to choose them, especially if they've catered so much to a spouse who wasn't meeting their needs. And I don't
mhm,
know
mhm.
the details of any of these marriages or relationships, but I will say that when someone is just going out their way, it seems a little too much like trying to convince the world that you're ready. Are you
Okay.
really? Are
Yeah.
you really?
Yeah.
So that's my question.
Okay, look, very good. Look, I'm gonna take notes on that myself. April said Neo is in divorce court as well. Wow,
He
boy.
needs to be. He needs to
Oh,
be.
what Neo do? Look, Naya, what did he do? What did he do? Now, please bring me
Oh
up to
my
speed on
goodness.
Neo.
Well, I just, his wife went on to talk about, how she just felt publicly humiliated with his actions
Mhm.
and, his infidelities, alleged infidelities. And it's just
Right.
interesting how he's like liking the post, like, you're right, I agree. It's just so interesting how, if you're not going to be faithful, if you're not ready to be committed, just don't be married. Just don't.
Right.
Stay single.
Yeah.
Stay
Yeah.
single. Why
Yeah.
even why
Yeah.
even waste the time? Don't even do it.
That's true. That's true. I
So
think a
that's
lot
why
of
I say
people.
he needs to be. Just go ahead and let it go. Be single, sir. You just be single.
Mhm. I think a lot of people just want to say they've been married or I am married. Some folks may want to do it for a tax break. I don't know. It might be an image thing. Whatever it is, I'm like you. Just stay free. If you want to keep being a trollop and a a whoremonger, then go right ahead and keep being that. That's on you. Be proud of your whoremonger. You know what I'm saying?
hmm I do think
Okay.
people get married to protect assets or because it's the thing
Right.
to do or, because they
hmm
think it's that time, but maybe not emotionally. They're probably not ready to actually commit.
hmm
So
Somebody was just saying. Lindsay said he liked the post.
he did. He liked the post. He did. If you go back and look at it, it was liked by Neo. He did.
Right.
He
Okay.
did. He
Right.
did.
Right. Oh my God. Let's see. April says, be single, sir. I love it. Yeah, be, I
Yeah,
mean,
single.
yeah, I mean, right. I even when I'm in a relationship, I try to still be single. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's
right.
too dangerous. It's just way too dangerous. I mean, I can
Yeah.
understand the fun of it all, but it's dangerous because people are not the best when it comes to their sanity. So I
No,
just think
no.
that it's just not safe. It's not safe. That's why I'm against it. It's not safe.
I agree. I'm with you 100%. I am with you 100%. Well, last but not least, in our hot topics tonight, as you guys know, Mr. Nick Cannon has welcomed his 12th baby. I think it is. Is it 12? I think I've lost
I'm
count. You
not
guys,
counting.
please forgive. Yeah, right, right, right. His tribe, his Wakanda zip code all to himself. Well, days after the birth of his newest baby, Nick Cannon and what is the young lady's name? Miss Scott, Alyssa Scott. they have a baby on the way. As you guys all know, Alyssa was the mother of the 5-month-old that passed away of brain cancer. This will be the second baby that she will have by Mr. Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon originally has 2 children by singer Mariah Carey from his marriage to Mariah when Nick first went down into the rabbit hole of fatherhood. Since then, he has been planting and spreading his seed every which way but loose. And some people are pro Nick Cannon and this every which way but loose, where other people like, bruh, what is you doing? What do you think, Nya B?
I think he's playing out his trauma. I think that he is somewhere hurt, somewhere bothered, and I think this is his way of coping and dealing. I think that when people deal with heartbreak, they deal with it in a manner that tend to affect everyone else. And you see this a lot with people who go on sprees with just dating, right? They'll start this serial dating. They won't commit to anything. They won't, really settle down. I think with Nick, he's taken his time to plant his seed. Now he says it's because he has this illness and he wants to create a legacy and he wants to do all these things. But I really think that it is his way of just saying, you know what? I'm hurt. My marriage did not work out the way I wanted it to because I truly believe that he wanted to stay with Mariah. And I think that to continue going on having babies with people who look like her says very well much like you're still hurt. You're very hurt, sir. And you just need to go sit down, get some therapy, talk about it. And everyone says, well, he can take care of these kids. He can afford it. That's not the point. The point is you are procreating and creating a lot of broken homes with these children because of your own selfish needs. So he's playing out his trauma, if you ask me.
I couldn't agree with you more because here's the deal. Nick Cannon, I'd rather see him and one woman have that many children, not all these multiple baby mamas. And yeah, he has the money to take care of everybody, but I'm wondering like how much time does daddy actually spend with his children? I'm wondering, do all of the baby mamas get together and go on vacation together? Is he doing some Arabian type of situation? You know, it has got to be stressful on all parties involved. Now, I'm sure the baby mamas are probably not acting like, reality chicks, because I'm sure we would have seen it by now, but it has got to be very difficult. And I'm sure the mama's thinking eventually I'll be Miss Nick Cannon. I'm thinking that's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, maybe they're okay with just having children and being baby mamas. You have to think these days media has glorified the baby mamas. No one's really saying, hey, go and get married and be a wife. You see baby mamas in the news. And I mean, some of them are more famous than the actual entertainers. So a lot of them, there's a positive reinforcement that's being attached to be the baby mama. So I really don't think many of them are seeing that as, a win to just be a wife. I think a lot of people nowadays say, hey, you get more in the bag when you become the baby mama. And so when people are no longer chasing their identity as they are chasing the bag, you see a lot of this.
Yes. Okay. I couldn't agree more. April said, keep your John in your pants, sir. I think this is his way of dealing with trauma as well. Yes. So the audience is agreeing with you. Here's another comment. But isn't a polyamorous relationship? Huh? Is it or isn't it?
Legal. Let's just go there. Let's start there.
It's what?
She says, isn't being a polygamist a relationship? I said, polygamy is illegal in the U.S. Like, what? So if you're saying, hey, I'm going to have multiple relationships with multiple women, no, you're just a cheater. You're just, that's, I think people use that because it sounds classier to say. But no, I mean, we want to take care of many households. Get a compound. Move them all on the compound. Move them all. I mean, it's just, if you want to do that, do that. But that's not what's happening here. That's not what's happening.
Okay. All right. Very good. Well, for those of you all that are just joining us, welcome to the Friday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. This is actually a new Friday night show that was created. It's entitled Love Hurts. We're not just necessarily talking about negative, bad things in relationships. We're talking about relationships in general, each and every show. And the reason why the show is called Love Hurts is that we actually get to talk about just everything that's invoked in us as a person, from the first time you got kissed by somebody and it didn't work out, you were hurt from the first time maybe you gave your virginity to somebody and it didn't work out. You were hurt, so you've been hurt all your life when it comes to love. And so now we want you to help peel back some of the layers, be able to talk about it. And so tonight we have our good friend in the co-host chair, the one and only Miss Nya B. We just love and adore her. She's here tonight to help us, mental health expert, author, speaker, TV personality, and my good friend. We promise to have a good time tonight to laugh and talk about quite a few things. Are you having fun, Miss Nya B?
I am. I'm having a great time. I love talking about relationships and love and the fun stuff of it all. I get to take off
I do too.
my
I, yes.
my hat just a little after 9 o'clock.
I
So
was getting ready to say, right, because I even noticed how fabulous the hair is when you normally do the show with me. Look, that's why I did a pullback tonight. And look, I'm like, tonight, I'm like, ooh, she right. She done put the sexy look out,
I had to
right?
get the curls
Yeah,
together for you.
yes,
I had to get
yes,
the curls.
yes,
I had
you
to keep it
did.
natural. So I can just be my
Yes,
natural self tonight, right?
yes, you did. You're doing a great job, and we love it.
Thank
Well, the
you.
next part of this, my honor, please. The next part of this is we're going to talk about things that you should be asking someone when you go out on a date. A lot of you are, oh, where'd you grow up at? Oh yeah, I watched that TV show. Where you go to church at? Well, if you really want to start to get to know someone better, these are elevated questions that I've come up with that you should be asking someone when you're out on a date with them. And the first question, believe it or not, is what's the best present you ever gave someone or the best present you ever received from someone? That helps you to gauge a person. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great question. I like thought provoking questions. I think it says a
Mm-hmm.
lot about, how you choose gifts, how you receive gifts, what's important to you. I think that's really cool. I like that
I
question.
do too. I do too. Because you'd be surprised some things that people would say. I've gone out with some people and I'm not going to name no names. And I say, well, what's the best present you ever received? Well, my mama got me some socks and underwear one year. And I said to myself, oh, well, okay, you've never, okay. And what's the best present you ever given somebody? Oh, I ain't never gave nobody no present. Or if I did, it was I bought them a drink at the club or something like that. And,
Yeah.
and really, giving presents has nothing to do with money, in my opinion, as much as it is coming from the heart. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? What do you think about? What do you think of? What would you think would be a good present to give someone?
Wow. Time. My time. That's a great present because it is very valuable and I cannot get it back once I give it to you. And I'm a very busy person. So if I give you my time, no.
Right.
But I do value people who put in the time to show up. Showing up
Okay.
is a great gift. Just being there.
Right. Right.
Because the world is pretty busy. And you take time out your day to travel, to see me, to be there. That is like everything. So I like it when people show up for me. That is a really great gift, showing up.
Okay. Okay. Very good. So the next question that you guys should be posing to someone when you go out on a date, and this kind of coincides with what you just got through talking about. The question is, what does your typical day look like?
That's a good
And
question.
that will tell you a lot about a person. Now, Nia B, I already know, and we're going to both go over our days. But I've gotten with folks who said to me, well, by the time I get out the bed, it's about 10. And then, I get up, I go to the bathroom, and then I smoke me one, and, then I may have me a little shot, and then by 2 o'clock, I done got dressed. Where I'm sure you and I, by 2 o'clock, have done a million things,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Come
Absolutely.
on now, a million things. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, what do you think about that question? What does your day look like? Because that will really help you make a decision on whether a person is compatible with you or not.
Yeah, I ask that question just in general. Of course, I do assessments a lot. So I'm always asking, my clients to run down like typical day. What's a typical day like for you? I think that's important. A good question that I have definitely asked that I think is very telling is what was the happiest day of your life? When I ask that question, a lot of times people can't answer it. They'll say, I've never had a happy day, or what's a happy day? Like it tells me that you don't believe you're in control of your own joy, or you can't even remember a time that you were your happiest.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very telling for me because I'm a pretty joyful person. I have so many
Mm-hmm.
happy days, so many times I can point out.
Mm-hmm.
And it also lets me know that you probably have had happy days, but if you see the glass half empty, you're not going to identify them. Because then I'll ask you,
Mm-hmm.
what's the worst day? And they can run it down, no problem. So I
Mm-hmm.
can't do that.
You know, here's the funniest thing, and I've been saying this for years. Even if I was to marry someone, I really don't want to be bothered Monday through Friday until 6 p.m. And then after that, I want to be, but I'm telling you, even if I got married, whatever the case may be, like I need you to leave me alone during the week because
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
my morning starts with, me getting up, dealing with my own issues, me, having this coffee. What am I going to wear? Let me return some emails, all of that. Then if I have somewhere to go and something to do, I'm usually caught up. In the
Yes,
evenings, I'm caught up. You know what I'm saying?
yes.
And when I'm done and shut it down, I really want to shower, lay down, and be left alone. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why really a perfect mate for me would be Friday night after 6 p.m. and over with by 6 a.m. Monday morning. So if anybody is paying attention, 6 p.m. Friday to 6 a.m. Monday morning, I need you to be gone. Right.
I definitely understand the cap on the time because Monday through Thursday is extremely busy for me. So I definitely
Right.
like the Friday through Sunday slash Monday morning, rendezvous. Like those are just better. Those are just great. Like I think I could marry someone and live in separate homes with them. I really think I could do that because I just
Right.
need my time Monday through Thursday. Like I need my time to just process with my clients, do all that stuff, and then we can hang
Yes.
out Friday through maybe Monday morning or Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday. Like that's just be ideal, but.
All right, so here's some of the comments. Chad Daddy wants a Saturday look. Really, that's it. Nya B wants it too, you guys. I'm telling y'all. Oh my God. And I felt this way when I was younger. I've been through a series of relationships. I'm still in limbo right now
They're
in
not
something.
believing you. They're not believing you,
Right.
Art. They say you're
I'm like,
joking.
look, y'all, I am not joking. You really make sure they understand they are a boy toy. I'm trying to tell them, look, because I just don't have that kind of time. I just really leave when I get up and have that coffee in the morning. I'm watching the news and I'm trying to figure out, Lord, am I gonna get out of here today? Should I get out of I mean, just yeah. Yeah, I agree
I
with
am
you
not
on that.
having it. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Now, the next question you should ask someone is instead of asking them about their career, you should ask them, what is it that they most like to do in this world? Instead of asking them about their career, you should ask them, what do they most like to do in this world? And that also will help you to know, more about them because you and I both are career people. You and I
Mhm.
both are public figures. Really, to be honest with you, once this camera go off, I don't even like this person. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, as soon as this camera, I'm like, well, I'm a different person. And we know it's an image, all of that. So what do you think about that? What do you do for a living versus what do you like to do?
See, I hate small talk. So when someone asks me what I do for a living, it's to the point now where I just say I don't have a job because I just want to see what they say. I want to see their reaction. So I'm quick to tell somebody these days I'm unemployed. Cut that out. I don't have time to answer those questions. But I think that it's really, really great to ask them, what would they, see themselves doing in this world. I think that's more of a productive role. I think it says more about their character and just how they view their place in the world, or if they have purpose. I'm all about purpose. I think purpose is really important. So I definitely think that would be a good get to know you question. I would ask them.
Mhm. Okay, very good. So our next question, believe it or not, is there anything you don't eat? And I'm gonna tell you why, because when I'm getting to know somebody, I tell people I'm outgoing, I'm adventurous, uh, fun loving, but most of all, I'm a foodie. And 9 times out of 10, they gonna respond. Now, the fun-loving, adventurous, they sit there and look at you like you crazy. But when you say foodie, oh, I'm a foodie too. Yes, I'm a foodie. I just love food. Oh, well then let's go eat some Korean. What? What? Or let's go eat some Ethiopia. What? Your ass ain't a foodie then. You get what I'm saying? So that's why. So that's another.
They do Harold's. They do Harold's or Crystals. They're foodies. What are you talking about?
Girl, see, I'm talking about PBS station type of foodie. Yes,
right. Yes, you better come with it. What are you doing here?
Oh my God! So, what do you think about that question? That is right.
I think that's a good question. I think any question that's open-ended, especially when it comes to food, because I'm allergic to onions. And a lot of people, they're like, who's allergic to onions? You're like, I am allergic to onions, yes. And I do not eat pork. I don't drink pop. So I like to have those conversations. So then they can look at me and be like, are you black food? I am. And I don't eat none of that. Or hot sauce on my catfish. So let's have that conversation. Okay. So let's have the conversation.
So wait a minute, like if somebody cooks something with onions in it, would that bother you, or are you just talking about raw onions?
I can do onion powder, but I cannot do cooked onions. I can't do raw onions. You're gonna see me looking like Hitch.
Oh my God! Oh wow! Oh, and I love onions. Oh my God, that is okay. Note to self: when I go to meet you for dinner, or if I cook for you, no onions. Okay. Wow, interesting. Okay, very good. Let me go on to the next question before we get to your presentation tonight. What sort of vacations do you like to take? So instead of saying, where have you been? Have you traveled? You got a passport? All that kind of stuff. The question should be, what sort of vacations do you like to take? What do you think about that?
I think that's a great question because it lets you know if they're local or if they're international or if they have a fear of flying. You can really get a lot of answers through that one question. So I think that's a really cool question to ask because I want to know.
See, my take on that was
of your block, because I swear one time I asked somebody to meet me for dinner. They was like, "That's 20 minutes away." Oh, okay, never mind then. Like. I drive 4 hours for my favorite restaurant. You mad about 20 minutes? We can't do this.
Right. No, I'm with you 100% because here's the deal. If you get to talking to them and be like, hey, babe, let's go to Jamaica, the Bahamas, whatever. And they be like, that let me know you paying child support and you ain't got no passport. When you hemming and hawing, right, child support and passport. You hemming and hawing, that means you can't get a passport because you owe child support.
Or maybe they have a fear of flying.
Right. Well, that's the same way. I know somebody that recently went on vacation, and all of their pictures were of things that, like, you got to be kidding me. Like, why did you take a picture of a street sign there? That meant you've never been anywhere. Why did you take a picture of all the dirty dishes? You didn't take a picture of none of the food you ate. You took a picture of the dirty dishes and made the comment, it's all you can eat. That let me know you've never been anywhere.
Well, we're going to have to get you to date some people that's in your cultural bracket, okay? Some people that have gone internationally. Some people that's not. You didn't get them up the street, some people. That's about your culture, that's in your class level.
Baby, I'm telling you, right? We got to. I'm like, man, how did I travel international by myself? Where you been? You ain't been nowhere. So
it takes a special person to travel solo, right? It takes a very actualized person to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Oh no. Matter of fact, I have female friends that I love to travel with them. I probably only have traveled with somebody special maybe once or twice, but female friends, no, we have the best time ever because we kick it, have a good time, we open to whatever. I can be the protector, the bodyguard. They can go with me to my spots and watch out for me. So yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, but no, I have no problem traveling by myself. We have some questions from the audience. What is your favorite place to travel to? Nya B, I'm gonna let you go first.
I really enjoy Spain. I really did. I enjoyed the food. I just enjoyed the culture. That was really nice. So now in the U.S., Vegas. I can go to Vegas all the time, every time.
Yes.
So yeah, those are my two places that I love traveling to.
Yes, I loved Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Both of those are great places. Some places in Asia have been wonderful. If I had to look here in the United States, I'm like you. I love Las Vegas because there are a plethora of things you can do in Las Vegas. But then I'm also a huge fan of South Florida now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I love South Florida. I just love the vibe, the people, the yes, all of that. So that's really good. That was a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Alice Crystal said at passport and child support laughing. Yes. Debbie Green said being evenly yoked. That's a great thing. Uh Safe travels. Yes, absolutely. And Debbie Green says Richmond, Virginia, and Jamestown. Okay. All right. Those are all great places. And then let's see. Do we have one more comment? No, New Orleans. Here's the deal. I'm not a big fan of New Orleans. I'm
I've never
not.
been. I've never been.
You kidding me?
I've
Yeah,
never
I'm not.
been.
New Orleans is cute. It's nice. It's someplace worth going to. But as far as do I have to go there all the time? No, I would not. I would have to be going for a reason, like if it was a convention, a group of people getting together. New Orleans, Bourbon Street, first of all, is a mess. A lot of them places you have to be careful. A lot of them people are weird. It's fun. I mean, like you've seen Girls Trip. Rick was saying the food there is fantastic. Yeah, but I've also had some fantastic food in other places as well too. So, Nadia says the French Riviera.
Yes, I love the
She
French
also
Riviera.
said yes. She says Brazil. Brazil is cool. Debbie says she loves New Orleans. And Crystal says great food in New Orleans. Yeah, I'm not trying to take that away from New Orleans. Now, the food down there is amazing. As far as, would I want to just go there all the time? I don't know. So New Orleans is a vibe. Yes, it is. It's very much a vibe. Let me see. What does she say? Frenchman Street in New Orleans is great. And of course, Cuba. Okay. Very
Okay.
good. All right. Well, let me see if there are any other questions that I have. Oh, here's one more. Well, actually, two more.
Mhm.
Tell me about your closest friends. That's a good question because,
That is.
when they start asking or answering, well, I'm friends with Smoke and Pop and Pook and them. Or, they'd be like, well, Carmelo Anthony is my boy and Anthony Anderson is my boy. And, so Nya, it goes from one extreme to another. What do you think about that question?
Well, I definitely think that the circle you have reflects who you are. So I think it's really important to get a glimpse of who they hang out with. If they're hanging out with people who are not as ambitious or not really doing anything, or just go by nicknames all day, chances are, you might not be where you need to be, or, you may find yourself with someone who doesn't necessarily, I can't even say that they don't establish good friendships or good relationships, but let's just say that they say, I don't have friends.
Right.
That's a red flag to me. Like, you don't have friends at all. Like, you don't hang out with anybody. You don't talk to anybody. Like, what do you
Nobody.
do? So how do you want
Mm-mm.
me to be your friend? How can I be your friend if you don't have any
Right.
friends? I need
Mm-hmm.
proof that you can do this. So
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
it's a very good question. Very good question.
Okay. All right. And last but not least, and this kind of segues into what we're going to talk about with your subject matter tonight. My last question that you guys should be asking people when you go out on dates or get to know someone is, what are your pet peeves, or do you have any pet peeves?
I think that's a great question. People don't necessarily like to be honest about that question though, because they're
Mm-hmm.
afraid that they're going to choose one of yours, and then
Oh,
yeah, so they don't like to answer that question honestly. They'll say something like, "Well, you'll get to know me," or "We'll learn it later." Because I definitely ask that question all the time. So I think it's a great question.
what are your pet peeves? Okay, very good. All right. Well, for those of you all that are just joining us, welcome to the Friday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. Tonight is entitled Love Hurts. Each and every Friday night at 9 o'clock, we'll talk about relationship issues. The backstory of Love Hurts is to talk about your life, what you've been through, the good, the bad, the ugly, whether you're single, married, divorced, gay, straight, whatever the case may be. At some point, love has hurt you. Some of us have healed from it. Some of us have moved on. Some of us have been very stagnant. I ask the question all the time, when was the last time you've had a date? When was the last time somebody asked you out? And I'm not talking about us, just people in the audience. When was the last time? So we're trying to bring love back. Our good friend, the one and only Miss Nya B, mental health expert, author, speaker, TV personality, is hanging out with us tonight. We have been just really talking about some great things. Thank you to everybody who has been adding to the comments tonight. We love you guys so very much. Nya B, so tonight you're going to talk to us about what now?
Self-sabotaging behaviors and what they look like in your relationships. I think
Oh,
that,
interesting.
yeah, we have people who, grow up and they get into these relationships. We talked about those dynamics, they go into what good questions should be asked and how you're supposed to court and what it looks like. And I think it's important for us to understand what it looks like when someone's trying to exit stage left and we don't really realize it. What if they're trying to sabotage the relationship and we don't really realize it? I see someone made a comment about chivalry. I think chivalry is really important, and that's a great topic. Sometimes I think it starts out people giving you their best, but what happens when it starts to turn, and what that looks like. So I have identified the top 5 self-sabotaging behaviors, and we're going to talk about what each one looks like in the relationship. And so if you guys don't know what self-sabotaging behaviors are, self-sabotaging behaviors are behaviors that people use to either end a relationship, get out of a relationship, or sabotage something that they see as beneficial to them, but they're afraid of. So it's a behavior that works against you. It's a behavior that does not work for you. So the top 5, number 1 is blaming. Blaming is one of the top self-sabotaging behaviors that ultimately leads to a runner or some form of anxiety. So that would look like not taking responsibility for actions. That looks like deflecting when there's confrontation. So sometimes you may ask a question and they may deflect and come up with something else. So it may look like, well, why didn't you take the trash out the other day? You know what? Down the street, did you see that dog go around the corner? Sometimes they're not interested in actually answering straight questions. You won't get straight answers from one who's starting to deflect or who is operating in a blaming space. This comes from not really being held accountable for their actions when they were younger, being able to, get out of things by having the gift of gab. They're smooth talkers, and you'll see this a lot. And it makes communicating really difficult in relationships. It's very necessary, but it's very, very difficult to communicate with someone who blames a lot. So, have you seen that?
All right. Have I seen it? Have I seen it? Hell to the yes. Hell to the yes. Have I experienced it? Hell to the yes. Have I recently said to somebody, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. But see, okay, so then help me before we get to the next point. Help me from being the know-it-all. Because see, in most relationships, you have the know-it-all, and then you have the person that deflects it all.
Well, I think when you're trying to be the know-it-all, the best way to be the know-it-all is know that you know nothing. So you ask a lot of questions. I am big on my favorite phrase is I'm confused. I'm confused. Tell me again what, although I may know and I may think I know, I want you to tell me, because if I come up with my own synopsis and hypothesis, you're not gonna like it. It's not gonna work out.
That's why you my twin. That's why you my damn twin. That's why, yes, amen.
My favorite line is, I'm confused. Can you repeat that again? Tell me again. And I will definitely just regurgitate exactly what they said, because I need you to hear exactly what you just said and tell me how that made sense. So Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Nya. You just confirmed something for me about someone I know. Absolutely. Yes. Oh, absolutely. Very good. Crystal say I know, right? Yeah. Okay, very good. What's point number 2 now?
The second self-sabotaging behavior is people pleasing. I know sometimes people don't see this as such, but it definitely is. People pleasing is a form of control. It's you trying to control other people's opinion of you by catering to their needs, making sure everything's okay, walking on eggshells. This may look like the constant apologizer. If you're constantly apologizing in your relationship, it's your way of trying to hold on to it by being who this other person wants you to be. And this is a sabotage because at some point, people definitely get tired of having to be the one to quote unquote coddle you, make sure you're okay, because it definitely works in reverse. We think that it's about us making sure the other person's okay, but what happens is that person will tend to say everything's fine, everything's good, you don't have to do it. So now they're focused on us and we can't really enjoy the relationship. So people pleasing is definitely not the way to go when it comes to relationships. You have to be able to please yourself in order for you to feel comfortable to please someone else. We think that giving 100% of ourselves to someone else is great. We tell them, hey, we want to be this ride or die. We want to show them that we're loyal. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. We got to make sure that we're balanced. Relationships work better when they're two balanced people coming together and expanding that value, not when one person is making sure the other person's okay constantly. That is not okay. Have you
I
done
love
that?
it. I love it.
Have you
Oh,
done that?
wait.
Have
Oh,
you been a
Lord.
people pleaser? Have you met a people
I,
pleaser?
okay. Okay. All right. So let me professionally, I am a people pleaser in everything that I do professionally. I've always from being a flight attendant to now I even work in the funeral business to even helping those that are in need. That's that. But in my relationship, not so much, because I want it to be 50-50. I want it to be equally yoked in the relationship. But what I found is that most of the people that I've been with, their way of pleasing is limited, very, very limited, where my way of pleasing is great, is it's good, because this is what I do for a living. So now what's wrong with me on that tip? Oh Lord, I'm gonna have to lay down after your answer, I'm sure. If I faint you all, it's because she gonna say something that I know she gonna say. Okay. Oh Lord.
Well, no, I think it just comes from you having to take care of everything at some point. So you get into these relationships and you have to take care of everything else. And you don't really realize this is what you're doing, but it's still a form of control. At some point you had to be the caretaker, or maybe you were parentified at an early age, or maybe you had to take the lead on a lot of things. And so you may think that when you get into these relationships, you're just kind of taking this back seat, but you're really not. You're really not. You're still kind of doing it without necessarily doing it, if that makes sense. You would like to think that, hey, I'm
Right.
just gonna sit back and chill, but the reality is you're doing it with the hopes, okay, well, maybe this person will in turn take care of me. So it's still a form of what I call caretaking. Caretaking is when it's different from caregiving. Caretaking is when you take care of other people's needs with the hope of getting reciprocity, right? So when
Hmm.
you're taking
Hmm.
care of something, you're actually maintaining it, or you're actually putting value into it for the upkeep of it. That's totally different from caretaking. And caretaking
Right.
comes from a place of people pleasing. So you still do it, just don't realize that you're doing it. I think you subconsciously tell yourself that so you can be okay with the fact that you're still doing
Okay. Okay. All right. I can stay up for your next 3 comments. I can.
it.
I'm okay. Look, let me breathe. Let me breathe. I'm okay. That wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I said, Lord,
No.
she gonna knock me out on this camera. I'm gonna be like, oh no. All right. So what's point number 3?
Point number three. Number three, the third self sabotaging behavior is shame. Okay, this is where a person operates in the space of narcissism. And what I mean by that is, I don't know if you guys know this, but narcissism is a disorder of shame. That means that at some point you may have dropped the ball on something, made a mistake on something, and someone shamed you for it. So much so that you developed a whole nother persona so that you could exist in the world because you don't want anyone to see your true colors, or what you see is false. So, what this looks like is people who over exaggerate the nature of the relationship, people who are big on constantly posting about the relationship, people who are constantly big on going all out their way to show everybody that they bought their spouse some flowers, a new car, or they're really big on image. And what they don't realize is that through constantly, and this is what I was talking about with Tia, the constant, the overkill of it, there's some shame there. There's some
Mhm.
disappointment there. But you're going above and beyond and out your way to present another persona so that you can deal. And the same thing happens with the extreme selfishness or the lack of empathy. Because don't, if you show yourself vulnerable, then you're afraid that you have to show that you have this shameful thing going on. So this is how you end up hurting the person that you're with, is by
Mhm.
operating in this different persona as opposed to saying, you know what, I dropped the ball on that. I messed up. So it's just better that, you go ahead and feel the wrath of this before I will. So
Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm guilty of some of that. I am guilty of some of that. I will take that and run with it. Okay. That was good advice. That was excellent advice. What's number 4?
number 4 is playing the victim. Okay. So this comes from, again, not being held accountable or no one having to, you're never made to be uncomfortable. So when you are uncomfortable, you see it as everything is happening to you. Someone is doing something to you. This is where you believe everything is an attack. A simple conversation, a simple question is, why are you attacking me? Or why are you doing this to me? Or where did that come from? And it becomes now that, instead of, have you ever just had a situation with somebody where you confronted them about something and you end up apologizing for something that you did? You walked away like, how did I end up apologizing here? Chances are you were
Hmm.
in a situation in which you were with someone who was playing the victim. And this is the easiest way for people to sabotage a relationship, because they're not going to acknowledge their faults. Everything's going to be because
Hmm.
you did something first. Everything's going to
Hmm.
be because you said something first. Everything's going to be because, or they may not even acknowledge that they did anything at all, but definitely playing the victim and feeling attacked all the time. Even if you say, hey, why didn't you wash the dishes? Like, why are you always attacking me? Why did you even say anything about it? I was going to get to it. That's definitely playing the victim.
Okay. All right. Been there, done that. Not necessarily me, but been in a relationship with people who, okay. All right. Yeah. Lord have mercy. This has been a seesaw of a ride with you. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, Lord. Lord have mercy.
Last but not least, the fifth self sabotaging behavior would be holding grudges. These are people who have the constant vengeance or the need to get back, maybe a little angry, maybe a little petty, maybe waiting on their time to say, aha. These are those people. Those are not good in relationships, but they are there and they will sabotage a relationship real quick. These are those who have had to carry the burden, of taking things on and no one ever defending them or having their back. So they're in the defense mode and constantly in a space of get back, right? They're constantly looking at, how do I get revenge because no one ever protected me, no one ever looked out for me. So they take these into the relationship of, hey, I'm gonna get you back. Yeah, we might have talked about it, but the minute you walk off, I'm gonna trip you, or I'm gonna, kick your cat, or I'm gonna, And so holding grudges is one of the most common things that people do. They hold on to who did what, when, where. They remember what you did March 1st, 1952. They have the evidence, the proof. They're going to show it because their fear is looking like the fool. That's their biggest fear, is looking like the fool. Have
And
you
you
ever had
shouldn't
a
have
fear of looking
acted.
like the fool?
Not so much, but I've dealt with folks who have acted the fool. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I keep receipts. That's why. So that's a good question. So I may not be the one that act the fool, but I'm the one that keep the receipts. And that holding grudge thing, that's a hard one to let go. I mean, here's somebody saying right now, let go and let God. I mean, to
It's
me,
easier said than done.
yeah, yeah, that's true. And that's the way I have to let it be now. I have to let
Hmm.
go and let God. You know what I'm saying? Right. Let me see. Rick says people who hold grudges never really show any grace. Right. Grace and mercy are the only two things that I've been able to live by lately. So, you know what I'm saying? I keep receipts. Yeah, so that's right. So I keep
I keep
receipts
receipts
because
too. I keep receipts. I
what's
keep receipts because I write books. I keep receipts because people be swearing up and down. They ain't said something. They did something. I'm like, please hold and let me go ahead and let me show you the receipt.
baby? Look, I told somebody I still got my kindergarten report card.
I still have mine too, actually.
Okay, right. You
Yes,
see what I'm
ma'am.
saying? Right,
I have.
right. So
I still have all my high school IDs for every year that I.
Right. That's why you my friend. That's why. That's why. I mean, right? Yes, I could keep receipts. Yes, yes. I mean, okay. All right. I love it. All right. All right. So let me get some feedback here. What did Crystal say? Romans 12:18. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord. Absolutely. So,
It's
all right,
true.
we'll figure it out.
Saying
Nya
that to the
B.
people who decided to take matters into their own hands in
Right.
2022.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. Well, you've done an excellent presentation tonight. Great job. I really appreciate you.
Thank
In
you.
closing, what do you want to say to everybody? Please, and make sure you give your following as well too. And we definitely, I'm gonna have you back on a Friday night because this was fun. It
Yeah,
really
this was
was.
fun. So
Yes.
Teddy, I know that you says that love hurts, and I think for a lot of people it has. But I would like to just add that love feels really good when it's love when it's from the right person. So I don't necessarily believe that love hurts as I do loving the wrong people hurts. And loving people who don't know how to love hurts. So I think it's important for you guys to definitely look at the people we are choosing, seeing if not only we're equally yoked, but do we want the same things? And I think that when you're on the same path and you want the same things, you can definitely have a great relationship, whether it's a friendship, romantic relationship, or even a job for that matter. So if you guys want more insights, you can definitely follow me on Instagram at author_Nya_B. Follow me on Facebook, Nya B. Find me anywhere. TV, KMOV. I'm on Great Day St. Louis. I do Wellness Wednesday. So check me out. I'm there. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
I just love you. You do an outstanding job. You really do. You're fun. You're exciting. You
Thank
definitely do
you.
a great job when you're on the CBS station in St. Louis. Just always just killing it. Let me get some
Thank
feedback from the
you.
audience before we get out of here. Make sure you guys go to her website. It is Nya B. I'll put it up there in just a moment. Crystal sent all hearts. We
Thank you.
appreciate you, Crystal. Nadia is watching us from Belgium, so she says she agrees. We
Oh,
appreciate her.
thank
Mental health discussion. We're gonna have more of these. You don't have to worry about it. Thank you, Debbie Green. We appreciate you so much. Is that author Bernard Sims? That is author Bernard Sims. Hello, thank you. We appreciate you,
thank
Bernard.
you.
He actually has a little scene. You can see him briefly in the Emmett Till movie. We have to have my movie star cousin on. We appreciate you, Debbie. We appreciate you, Nadia, Watika, Crystal, all of you guys. Thank you for being here tonight. It is Halloween weekend, you guys, so make sure you go out and get you some tricks, or you could be a treat. I don't know how that all works. Nya B, are you participating in Halloween this weekend?
I'm gonna get some candy, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Oh, all right then. Wink, 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 wink. Thank you, Rick, for watching us in
Wentzville,
Wentzville.
hey,
Oh boy, Wentzville, Missouri.
Wentzville,
Yes.
Missouri.
Watika says she saw Till last night. Very good. And happy Halloween. We appreciate you guys so much. Well, on behalf of my co-host, the amazing Miss Nya B, and yours truly, Art Chat Daddy Sims, we thank you guys so much for tuning in to Love Hurts tonight. We really appreciate you guys. We'll be back next Friday night with another relationship show, another topic, another guest, all that great stuff. For more information about yours truly, all you guys have to do is go to the real chatdaddy.com, therealchatdaddy.com. That's where you can find moi. Is it up there? It sure is.
It
And to
is
find my
there.
girlfriend that's co-hosting tonight, we just love and adore her. Make sure you guys, the ticker is down below you guys on how you can find her, Nya-B.com. Follow her on Instagram and Facebook. Let's see if we got two more comments and then we're going to run out of here. It's time. Hold on one second. Uh-oh, are they popping up? Uh-oh, we may not have the time, you guys. We love you guys. Let me see if I get these comments up. Oh, here we go. Marguerite says, thank you so much. She appreciates us. And Debbie says she is going to dress as the devil wears Prada. I love that. Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
cool.
And Rick said he'll be back in Chicago tomorrow night. He appreciates us, and Crystal says good night. All right, you guys, on behalf of Nya B and yours truly, we're out of here. We love you guys.
Bye.
Be well, people. Thank you again. Be safe. Happy Halloween. And when we come back, it'll be November 1st. Talk to you guys later. Can you believe it, Nya B? Like,
I
we
cannot.
are, yeah, like Thanksgiving is here.
Yeah, we are almost done
Uh,
with 2022.
all right, you guys. Love you guys. See you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.